Ideas are overrated. I work with the top German brand, which every entrepreneur should do. If you are failing, fail fast. And I left to start my own venture. We have 5 fingers. Are they all the same?
No.
Out of those 90% which fails, 100% of them fail because they are doing some repeated mistakes. We don't teach entrepreneurship.
Time has been the money.
Let me stop you over here. Time is not money. Time is precious than money. You know, we throw you in the pool, but with a lifeguard. And the sky is the limit.
Welcome to a very amazing episode of FEDPreneur Show. I am your host Chun Chainika, and today we have a very special guest from KIIT TBI who is an entrepreneur, a business development lead and an ex-investment banker who will help us to dive into the world of startups and its ecosystem.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So let's start. So as you know that building a venture and startup is a very new these days. So what's your journey and what led you into the world of startups and KIIT TBI especially?
Thank you, Chun. First of all, for having me on your podcast. I will let you know what my story is because that will actually help you understand what I am doing and why I am doing that. So after graduating from IIT Kharagpur back in 2005, I got my first job as an investment banker. I worked with the top German bank by the name of Deutsche Bank. I worked in their multiple offices, New York, London, Singapore, and finally in Mumbai. After working for 10 years in one company, I had a very nice experience, but then the entrepreneurship actually bug biting me. And I left to start my own venture. Back in 2013, I started my first venture where we were making Indian-made 3D printers. And I ran that particular company successfully for 5 years. Sold that company to another company who just got the IPO last year. So after that venture, I was super excited and I wanted to start something of my own. And I went for that second venture. But like you say that, man proposes and God disposes. You made some success, you made some failure. So my second venture was not a success. But what I did, which every entrepreneur should do, is if you are failing, fail fast and move on. That's what I did. But one interesting thing which has happened that at that very time, there was an incubator back in Dehradun, and they were looking for someone to lead the incubator. And my experience of failure as well as success made me the right candidate to do that. So since then, it's almost like half a decade, and I'm in the entrepreneurial ecosystem.
That's really inspiring, sir. So as we know, almost 90% of these startup ventures fail, and that's very daunting. So what will be your mantra? As you said that you had been an invested banker, and then that led you into the world of startups. So did you had anything in your mind that if I fail, what I would do? So what suggestions and advice would you give to all those budding entrepreneurs out there?
So very rightly said, right? 90% of the startup fails. And everyone should ask this particular question, why is it so? Is those 90% of the people are not dedicated enough? Have they not thought through? Do they want to be successful? Even I have my failures, right? But the question comes that why they fail. And believe me, out of those 90% which fails, 100% of them fail because they are doing some repeated mistakes. Okay? If you know how not to do that, that is the way to succeed. We as an incubator actually help the budding entrepreneur to not do those mistakes. It is like, you are playing a mind sweep and I'm giving you a cheat code that where are the potential mines. You should be knowing it and then you can avoid it. Otherwise what will happen? You will randomly go and step on a mine and blast. So the role of an incubator or a mentor is actually to help the aspiring entrepreneur to understand what mistake not to do. I tell you one particular thing, back my IIT preparation days, we've been told It's not important to know what you should do, but it's more important to know what you should not. And if you can avoid those mistakes, the possibilities of success is even higher.
That's actually great. So, learning from your personal experience is great. So, sir, as you explained about success and failures, so almost all the startup entrepreneurs just hold themselves back in their ideation stage. They do not get ahead of that. They do not get past of their ideation stage and go to their product stage. What would you say to them? How would they get past of the ideation stage and actually do something?
Very interesting. You know what? And this is my personal quote. Ideas are overrated. Okay.
Okay, sir.
You know, ideas don't build ventures. We all use ChatGPT nowadays. You sit and ask them that, the business ideas. It can give you 50 good business ideas, but you need someone to execute it. That is the biggest problem. People conceive the idea, but they don't deliver it. And if you don't deliver it, how you are going to make it?
Exactly.
So very well said that people stick to their idea. You know why? Because they are not ready to put effort into it. You don't make millions and billions just by dreaming about it. One interesting thing you guys must have seen in your Instagram reels, people are suggesting that I have earned millions and I can teach you millions. Believe me, if I know how to make millions, I would not be investing my time teaching someone else and making my own millions, right? Their effort of making millions is calling you guys to learn how to make millions. You have to understand there is no shortcut in life. There is no way you can actually skip the grill before making something pretty big.
Actually, sir, I totally understand what you say because at one point of our life we have to leave the procrastination stage and get ahead of that. Speaking of that, once a startup entrepreneur has get ahead of that product stage, in the launchpad stage, what should be their approach? How the startup ventures and entrepreneurs, and why should they focus on customer centric approach to make their startup successful?
Thanks for using the word customer. Okay. So forget about idea, forget about making the product. The first thing any entrepreneur should work upon is identifying your customer. Who is your customer? For whom you are making it? I bet you 90% of them really don't know. And that is the reason why they are not able to deliver. I am making something because I want to make it. Have you ever asked that who is going to buy? Because objective of an enterprise or a startup is not to do what you love to do, is to do what you can do for others. If it is not useful for anyone, why anyone will buy it? If they don't buy it, where you get the revenue from? If you don't get a revenue, where you get the investor interested in you? So this is a vicious cycle, and you have to start well. What you ask me a question is exactly the impression which many people have. I will have an idea, I will make a product, and then I will talk to the customer. It is the other way around. First, you actually talk to the customer, understand what their pain point is, work on it, and then deliver. In our local meetings, we say that customer don't buy products. They are looking for painkillers. And most of the startups are making vitamins without even knowing the deficiency. So you can imagine how those startups can even dream to be successful.
That's actually great, sir. So, as you mentioned that about how the customer feedback is so necessary. So, once the startup entrepreneur or the business ventures have gotten their customer feedback, how do we implement that? According to you, that it should be the other way around. So, once we have our customer feedback, how do we analyze that? How do we implement that?
Shana, I would like to say something. You are a graduate in computer science.
Yes,
Right?
sir.
So becoming a computer science engineer, you have to invest your time into studying computer science. If somebody is planning to be a lawyer, he has to learn law. If you want to be a doctor, you have to learn law. Who told you that being an entrepreneur, you one day woke up and say that I want to be an entrepreneur? It's like somebody woke up and said that I want to be a doctor. Let me try to be a doctor. I will take a Caesar and a injection and I start doing operation. I will succeed, no? What do you think the percentage of failure would be?
So it'll be almost 99%.
100%, right?
Exactly.
So who told you that being an entrepreneur doesn't require you to learn the game of the rule of the game?
Yeah.
This mistake is the reason why many are not able to do that. The question which you are asking that, okay, when they take the customer feedback, then how they can implement it. There is a very structured way to do these things. The institutions like us, we are an incubator at KIIT, and we are very proud to say that we are one of the top incubators in the country. So KIIT TBI actually hails an experience of more than a decade in grooming those. And we have very nice models which we want the student to adopt before going abroad. So to answer your question on point blank, there is a framework which we call a value proposition canvas.
Yes.
Any student or any individual who is actually planning to do that, they should work on developing that canvas. And that canvas is very simple. It actually talks about what is the real need of the customer. You have to actually list it down. Then what are the pain points? And then what are the gains? If you don't know these particular things, forget about having an idea or developing a product, you cannot even take off. So these fundamental steps are there in the progress of an entrepreneur, and that is what incubators like us are dedicated to work.
That is actually great, sir. So, as you mentioned about customer feedback and everything, there is also a part to build startups that what about the right platform and, KIIT TBI as an incubator, it's a very good platform. So, how in KIIT TBI is it providing the startup entrepreneurs a platform for their incubation, and what is the process exactly if our viewers would like to know?
So KIIT Incubator is one of the incubator across the country. There are many. Government of India is very supportive of realizing the fact that our youth has huge potential and how we can provide them the support when it is needed the most. So these incubators are established in one of the reputed institutions, and although it is in an institution, but it is open to all in that geography, not only to that college student, but other students or even the professionals who are thinking about starting their venture. So you ask how an incubator can help. There are multiple ways in which we help. We help you into getting your idea aligned with the market. Step number one. Step number two, help you develop that idea into a product. We have a center of excellence where we are actually having the prototyping facility which you can use to develop your product. Once you have the product ready, then it is how to go to market strategy. We have expert with the experience to teach you that. Then comes the funding part, most attractive and most important thing. There are multiple government schemes which is actually encouraging the students to go for it. Do you know, just if you are a graduate, there is a scheme which gives you 10 lakh rupees just for converting your idea into a product. And it's a grant. It's called Nidhi Prayas. This 10 lakh rupees is given to the individual so that they don't have to think about the opportunity loss. Opportunity loss is okay, I can go and join a job or I can work on my entrepreneurship. The society will ask you that what are you doing? You are getting a good job. Why you are not joining that particular thing? This is 1 year of loss. How you are going to manage? But these schemes are there where we help the startups or the individuals who want to develop their product, give them the grant and help them into bringing that idea into product. It's a grant, so it is not a loan. It is not a liability on an individual. It is just an encouragement which we are providing. And it is one of the schemes. There are thousands of the schemes which is available in our incubator, and not only in our incubator, in good reputed incubator across the country. Individuals should go to the incubator and apply for them. Moreover, I am very happy to inform you that from this year we are actually going to launch very interesting program which is called MBA in IEV, which is Innovation, Entrepreneurship and Venture Development, where people can develop their venture for 2 years, okay, and get an MBA degree along with it. Now you may ask then, what about the graduate student? Surprise, we have a program which is called Minor in Entrepreneurship. So suppose you are doing your BTech in computer science, and if you are interested into exploring the field of entrepreneurship, you actually can enroll for minor in entrepreneurship, and it is AICT approved credit. Okay, so you actually earn the credits, and at the end of the year, along with your degree, you get the minor in entrepreneurship.
That's actually, sir, you have just exploded two very big surprises incoming. Well, sir, talking about how you build ventures, sir, speaking of personal experience, even I have my own startup idea in my mind that I am currently working in my prototype stage. But so, as my parents, my family suggest me that, Chun, you should actually do a corporate job of 5 to 7 years of 9 to 5, build capital, income capital, and then you should go for startup ventures. And even there's a clause: what if you fail after those 5 to 7 years? How will you return yourself to back those corporate sectors when you are already a boss of your life to again working under someone else? So, sir, what is your point of view or your take on this?
Very interesting. In fact, as I told you my story, I worked for 10 years and then jumped into the entrepreneurship. So, like every coin, there are two sides of it. It seems to be the very safe bet that I go for 5 years, acquire some money, have that particular thing, have some safety net, okay, and then try to learn that particular case. Nothing wrong with it, okay. It is how you are comfortable in it. But you have to be careful about one thing. When I left my job, there was a colleague of mine who was saying, Vishal, good, you are going for living your dream. We will also do it, okay. It's 10 years from then and they are still in the same job, okay. So what happened that you get into a comfort zone. Getting out of that comfort zone is very tough job, okay. When you are a student in a college, this is the right time when you should try your hands in everything, okay, and learn the basics. No matter whether you want to do it immediately or you want to do it 5 years down the line. But remember one thing, time is the key. We all know Amazon today, what Amazon is. Nobody knew it 20 years back. And yes, it took Amazon 20 years to become what it is. So things take time, and time works in a different compounding way for an entrepreneur. So you have to choose that. There's nothing wrong, there's nothing right. There's no right time, as they say. But you have to do your own calculation. Even if you are thinking that that's fine, I will work for 5 years and then come into, not at all problem. But any time when you are coming, you should first learn the game, learn the rule of the game, and then jump for it.
Rightly said, sir, that time is the new money. Time has been the money in actually
Let me
acquiring.
stop you over here. Time is not money. Time is precious than money. If I lost some money, I can gain it back. But time once lost, it can not be bought back. No matter how much money you are going to invest in it. So that is what my suggestion to you and everyone who is listening in that particular case. We are living in beautiful ways, times, right? And the time is skipping out of our hands like anything, okay? If I have to sit and scroll a screen for 2 hours, you will happily do it and don't even realize. Okay? My suggestion to everyone is that use your time like you will use your money, okay, and invest it into developing the skill which you are going to reap benefit in the future.
That is great, sir. So, as you mentioned about time, even when we all are friends sitting together, we talk about building our own startups or anything, and then we just pick out our friends to be our partners and everything. That okay, we can do that, you can do that. We just give them their domains to work on, and after some time, it either fails or it goes great. That is the 90% and 10% area. But how do you think that having a right team for your startup is essential?
You know, it's called company.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought what it's called company? Company means company.
Yeah.
We have five fingers. Are they all the same?
No.
Tell me which one you are ready to sacrifice.
So sacrificing one would actually be problematic.
Right?
Anyone.
So every finger has its role. In a company, you require a team. The team with complementary skills. If you are good at technology, there should be someone who is good at marketing. And there should be someone who is good at finance. It is unfair to expect that one can be everywhere. What you said, the importance of the team is the must. You know, statistically, I'm doing a study and I'm doing the data. Out of that 90% failure, 43% fails because of not having a good team. And as I said, it is not team whom you are happy with and you roam around, he is your batchmate and things like that. He or she should have the complementary skill. Okay? If you can grab them together, you know, our fingers are not all identical, no? Why one is fat, one is thin, one is long, one is soft. There is a role of it. In the same way, the team has a role in a company. And one more thing, right? This journey is going to be tough. Okay? And it is very easy for someone to get, devastated when the things are not going good. The team is required to push you up. You know, it's a very good saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go long, go with a group. Okay?
Yeah.
That is what the importance of team in any venture.
That is actually great, sir. So team is a very big factor in building a startup. So, speaking of personal experience, yesterday we were taught in class about dopamine. So dopamine, it's a pleasure hormone. So talking about dopamine, we build a startup. As you said, that your first startup after working for 5 years, you sold it. You were very excited. Then you built a second one. So according to you, how important it is for a startup owner to keep its calm, to keep his or her composure maintained during their working period?
Very well said. And I'm very happy that you talked the name of dopamine. I'm a biotech graduate from IIT Kharagpur, and my thesis was on this. Okay, and I'm seeing what is happening when we are scrolling the reels. What is it? It's a dopamine.
Dopamine, yeah.
And sorry to say, but we together as a generation, I'm much older than you, but still I am addicted to that. We need that regular dose of dopamine. Regular dose of dopamine. So, in life, it is not going to be that. If you really want to get that kick, you should be working what you should relate. Again, a very important lesson for any aspiring entrepreneur. Don't get into being an entrepreneur just because it is fashionable, just because others are doing it, just because you think they are funding at the end of the tunnel and you are going to get that. Do it because you really want to work on that domain. You really relate to it. In that way, what will happen that your dopamine kicks will keep on happening. Okay, and that is where I say that find a problem which you are passionate about solving. Don't worry about technology. Don't worry about execution. First, find that real problem. Okay, which you think that I would love to solve. And when I'm saying that, I'm not saying that you have to check and pick only the problems which is of world order. No, no. Okay. Any simple problem which you think I would love to solve that. Okay. Once you have that association with that problem, mind you, I'm saying problem, not a solution. People are falling in love with their solution. Okay, I have come up with this idea and it is worth $1 million. No, no. You have to find a real problem which is worth solving and then work towards it. If you have choose the right problem, your dopamine kick will be coming from there. And there's an experiment which we have done, Jim, which I wanted to share with you. Most of the time we thought that, okay, let me find a group of enthusiastic students and we will give them an idea to work upon. Okay. We will guide them, we will provide them the funding, okay, and the idea also will give it to them. It didn't work. Why? Because in that way, that group of people see it as an external thing. You know, our body, if you have any organ transplanted in your body, the body doesn't accept it.
Yeah.
Okay. It is in constant fight because it sees it's a foreign body.
Yeah.
Okay. Idea is the same way. If you really want to work on something, it has to be coming from your within. If it is coming from your within, you are more reliant to work on it for a longer period.
Actually, that's a great. So, sir, as you talked about the new minor course, so what would you like to share more about that?
Yeah, why not? So, look, what is happening that many of you guys and the students are now knowing about entrepreneurship. They are watching Shark Tank, they are participating in an event. But this all thing is happening in ad hoc basis. Okay. Yes, you earn some certificate, you get that particular thing, but there's no, it's still a extracurricular activity. It is not a co-curricular activity. You won't get recognized for it. So AICTE, which is All India Council of Indian Technology, has actually come up with this idea that they say that why not we actually formalize it. And this minor in entrepreneurship is actually meant for any graduate student who has an interest in entrepreneurship and they are participating in the event, you know, participating in Smart India Hackathon or Fabathon or Buildathon. There are multiple events which is happening within the campus, outside the campus, and even at the national level. This program is actually accumulating the effort which the individual has done apart from his academic and recognizing it as a credit. This would be formal credit which is added in your system apart from your regular credit. And if you have accumulated 20 credits, you will get a minor in entrepreneurship. Now you will ask, sir, how I can earn the credit? So suppose you participated in a program called Smart India Hackathon. You will earn 1 credit out of it. You attended a summer internship in one of the startups. You, based on the hour of engagement, you earn a credit for that. And throughout your graduate degree, all this accumulated credit can be converted into a minor degree in entrepreneurship.
That's actually a very great course for all the budding entrepreneur who wants to continue their BTech or BCA, BBA degree along with their minorship degree.
Yep.
Sir, if you would like to say that how is IBM MBA and Simple MBA different? How are both of them different in different aspects?
Before that, I would like to answer one more thing because we were talking about the graduate student. So this entrepreneurship is not only for the guys who want to be a founder. Okay, it is meant for anyone. For suppose you want to join a company, you say that, sir, I want to work for 5 years and then think about entrepreneurship. Now, even in this 5 year, when you are going and sitting in an interview or joining to a company, how you are going to differentiate yourself? Okay, you are a computer science graduate, like hundreds of more in your batch. What is your differentiating factor? How, if I am an employer, I will see that you are a right fit for my company. And that's where comes the importance of entrepreneurial mindset. Okay. You may ask, sir, what is entrepreneurial mindset? Entrepreneurial mindset is actually the mindset of a problem solver. Irrespective whether you want to start your own company or you want to work for some other company, you need to develop this attitude of finding a problem and then try to solve it. If you can showcase this ability of yours, believe me, you can be an asset to any company. And that is why it is important for the graduates,
Correct.
even if they are not aiming to be a founder, but want to work for a great company.
Startup. Yeah.
Now coming to this program of ours, MBA in Innovation, Entrepreneurship and Venture Development. This is the name of the program, which in short we are calling MBA IEP. This program is very different from regular MBAs. It is not your father's MBA. Okay. It is an MBA where we are not teaching you by some professors. Okay. Here your mentors are the one who themselves have been an entrepreneur. It is like, if you want to make a six-pack app, you would like to learn it from someone who has made a six-pack app. Okay. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Okay. No matter someone will say, no, I know how to make. I have not made it, but I know how to make. You will not trust it, right? And it is also unfair for the aspiring entrepreneur to not get the real value. This program is meant in such a way where you will start from scratch, irrespective of whether you have an idea or you're already working on an idea. We help you into understanding what it takes to be an entrepreneur. Consider it as if you want to learn flying an aeroplane, right? You have to go to a flight school. We provide you that simulator, but with a co-pilot, which is an existing entrepreneur, right? Second thing is that entrepreneurship is a lonely journey. Okay? So come, we will give you your wolf pack. We will actually help find your Avenger team. That is the importance of this program.
So rightly said that when you talked about how entrepreneurship is a lonely journey. We as an entrepreneur, or maybe you as an entrepreneur, have faced that at any point of your career or life, about how lonely you feel when you are working. You get separated from your family for a moment, from your closed ones for your moment. So how do you cater that? And what would your advice?
Exactly, and that is where the setup like this comes into picture. You want to talk to people who are on the same boat, right? In an incubator like ours, you can actually talk your problem and your struggle with fellow entrepreneurs. They can relate to that problem. Might be they can provide you a solution which they have tried and it worked for it. So to avoid this lonely journey, we made this cohort where the like-minded people come together and learn on their own. One more thing also I want to highlight, we don't believe in teaching. Okay? There's a very nice phrase, people who can do, who can't do, teach. We believe in helping you learn the thing. Okay? Entrepreneurship cannot be taught. It can only be learned. And even if you fail trying that, you are still learning. Right? Teaching, you fail or you pass. But when you are learning, okay, even failures help you learn a lot of things. And that's the real learning.
Actually, sir, so as you mentioned, that how practical learning is way important than what is theoretical teaching. And entrepreneurship actually can't be taught. It has to, someone has to learn. We learn about it. That is how we implement it. Practical knowledge at the end of the day, even if we fail building something, at least we are learning. We have the resources, we have everything. At the end of the day, we'll take away something with us. So on that note, if you have to give one failure, how to overcome failure mantra to our viewers, what will be it?
So as I told you, I have a personal mantra which I give to the people, that there has to be no fear of failure. I have a hashtag called hashtag no fear of failure. And why is it so? It's very simple. And you can also imply in that particular case. What is the cause of failure? Okay. You think that, I get humiliated, people will make fun of me, this will not happen, that will not happen. And that fear actually not even let you take the leap of faith.
Yeah.
I have a very simple thing. I imagine the extreme bad, how bad it can be. Okay. And if you know that, okay, it is not that bad, okay, then why to fear? There's a very nice saying, things that don't kill you make you stronger, right? So whenever any hurdle come to your mind and you say that, okay, what if I fail? Then just think the worst case scenario. And if you say that, okay, that worst case scenario is not that bad, then go for it. What if I have already met a failure? This is one conceptualizing that there would be a fear of failure. But I'm talking about what if there is a failure. Okay? You are still alive, right? So you learn in the process. The biggest mistake is if you don't learn from your mistake. There is no shame in failing. But if you are not learning from your mistake, that is a real risk. So even if you have failed, just look back and say, okay, I'm still alive. God is very kind on me that I'm still having my senses. And the life is long. Okay? What I have learned from this failure, I'm not going to repeat it. Just promise this much and move on. That's it.
Exactly, sir. So sometimes the pessimistic nature is very important to have an optimistic life ahead. Speaking of that, sir, my father has an MBA degree. My uncle has an MBA degree. Both of them have their own businesses and everything. But when it comes to if I want to pursue that, I don't. I want to start something of my own. So, what piece of advice would you give to those second generation entrepreneurs of family?
Yeah, it may sound controversial, but I'm still taking this chance.
Okay.
What if you say Usain Bolt not to run?
Exactly.
Okay. You have an asset. Why don't use it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, you are being lucky that you have a family which has done something. And it is also relatable that you don't want to do that particular thing. Fine. But why to reinvent the wheel? You look at the same thing and see, okay, what I can do and how I can take it to the next level. Entrepreneurship doesn't mean always to do something new. It is to do something in a new way. Okay. It is utilizing the resources, utilizing the technology, utilizing the spectrum and take it to the next level. So my suggestion to all the second generation entrepreneur is, if you have some asset, work on it, leverage on it, and then get to the next step. There is no point in not utilizing the resources which is in your hand. Not everyone has that particular facility. Use it to your fullest and take it to the next dimension. That is essential.
Rightly said, sir. And I agree to your controversial topic. Well, sir, there is a very big Gen Z word, that side hustle. It's a very Gen Z topic. It's a very Gen Z code. Speaking of generational Z, what would be your take on having a side hustle along with whatever your main or main career path is?
I would say side hustle doesn't work. Real hustle does. What I mean by that, I'm very being honest in that particular case. If you really want to be an entrepreneur, be an entrepreneur. If you want to have a safety net of a job, do that job properly. Okay. Being in two minds is not a good idea. You are not doing justice to yourself, to your job, and to your life. Okay. Side hustle is like, I'm doing this, but let me do something more. Why that something more? If you really think that this is what is your new calling, get it over there. What will happen if you are doing this side hustle? You are half here, half there, and going nowhere.
Yeah.
Tell me one successful person or one startup which is working two things in parallel. No one can do it. No one can do it. Okay. I mean, you don't say that Elon Musk is running 3 companies. Okay. He is running 3 companies now because he is a different kind of person. Any person who is doing that particular case, they require a focus and work on that. So yes, side hustle is a very nice thing. It's good to do while you are in college. So with the studies, if you want to do something, that is fine. But when the side hustle is I'm doing a job and then I'm doing this side hustle, I really don't buy that particular thing. Okay.
Okay, sir. Sir, as you mentioned about side hustle and everything, so talking about main career, I am a graduate in BTech Computer Science. There are people who do BCA, BBA, they are lawyers or what are medicos or doing their MBBS. So how are those people aside from BTech, non-engineering students? How is entrepreneurship important for them, and what kind of ideas they can bring up to the society for a change?
Tell me one particular thing.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs,
Yeah.
was he a technocrat?
No.
Who was that? Steve was there.
Yeah.
Right. Just to give you a data, which I have just extracted yesterday, we have around 110 plus unicorns.
Yeah.
You know, for a fact, 1 out of 3 unicorn founder, okay, has their bachelor degree in non-tech. Okay, that's a huge data, 33% of them. So idea is, as I told you in the very starting, startup is 10% idea, 20% technology, 30% networking, and 40% execution. That's 100%, right?
Yeah.
And while doing that particular thing, technology is a very important component, but it is not the only component. So yes, I do want to encourage the non-engineering graduates to explore the possibilities. And as I said, that incubators like us, the program of ours, is actually meant to help you connect with your technology co-founder. So this domain is open for everyone. More variety you are giving, more versatile team is coming up. And yes, it is very much required that people from non-tech graduate also think about entrepreneurship is one of their opportunities.
Yes, sir. You mentioned about how 40% networking is very much important. So what exactly networking mean according to you?
Okay. So, sometimes you say, he is so lucky, he got everything on a silver platter.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's a very nice saying which says that my overnight success took me 20 years. Okay. Networking is very important. Okay. People don't buy product. They buy product from the people who they like to do business with. Okay. And whenever you are planning to do any deal or trying to get a new customer or organization and stuff like that, networking is very much important. Even for raising the fund, networking is very much important. Now, networking is not nepotism. Okay, networking is how you build the connection. You guys are using Instagram and things like that. Some of you also been using LinkedIn. And I have seen people using LinkedIn like they add friends in Facebook. Okay. No. Whenever you meet someone, whenever you connect with someone, try to connect with them on LinkedIn and try to engage with them. Okay. You never know when those networks are going to be with you. Don't build a network with some intention at the back of the mind, but nurture the network in a right way. And have you heard about that 6 degrees of freedom? Have you heard about the 6 degrees of separation?
No.
Okay. So, this is very interesting. It says that any two person on this earth is connected at max by 6 people in between.
Okay.
Let me redefine that. You are connected to Donald Trump by at max 6 people in between. Ask me how.
How, sir?
You try that particular thing. The condition of this thing is the connection which is happening
Okay.
is you knowing someone, and that someone should also be knowing you. One on one. Okay, it's not
I
like
get
I
it.
know Modi ji. Modi ji doesn't know me, right? So it has to be connection in that way, where you know someone and he knows you, or he or she knows you, and in that way the connection keep on going.
Actually, sir, I get it. Right now, you said that, and I already got to Donald Trump just within 4 to 5
4 to 5
people.
connection,
Exactly.
That is the beauty. You know, this theory has came in late 1970s. The revised theory says it is just 4 or 5 connection, not even 6.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is the thing, right? Network is having that power. You can reach out to anyone if you really want to, if you know that network well, if you have nurtured that network well. Okay. In my LinkedIn, there are very limited people, but all those people, if I send them a message, they will reply it back. And that's why I can get introduced to anyone, even if I'm not directly connected. That is the power of network. You guys as a student should invest your time into building your network. College is not only a place where you come to study and get a degree. It is a place where you get an opportunity to know people whom you can build your company with. You can know people who can be your mentor. You know people who can be your potential employer. You know people where you can actually raise fund from. Okay, and all these network can be made by these different programs which is happening in your colleges or other colleges. So do invest in that, because again, I'm giving my personal input on that. Your network is your net worth. Okay, that's it.
That's a very great line, sir. Your network is your net worth. Sir, well, do you know, like, all of my friends also, when you ask them, when you go to them and say them that beside from studying, you should do something of your own, you should go out, you should actually meet people who has the same thinking of yours and actually do something productive with them, because at the end of the day, quality matters than quantity. So, what piece of advice would you give to those students who only stick to study portion and do not explore in the college where they have a platform?
Look, it's your personal choice. Okay, no one can push you for that. But what happened? Like, you choose to participate and be the host of this podcast. How many people you have met in that context? You met me. You met me meeting other people as well. You can just push anyone to just go out and do things. You have to get involved into something. Get involved in anything which is of your interest, but do that. Don't be in your doubts. I'm very sorry to see this particular thing that the students nowadays, even if they have gone in a party, they all are with their mobile phone.
Yeah.
Sitting around the table, surfing on that particular thing. It is a beautiful thing to get connected, but why not to explore the physical connection? And as I'm saying, I don't want to preach that particular thing up, because your choice is your choice. But human is a social animal, okay? And do it with a intention of getting the benefit out of it. Okay? Every connection, every friendship, every conversation which you are making is polishing you, okay? Which you require in all walk of life. In your relationship, you require that. In your professional, you require that. Even in your parenting, you would require that. Okay. So the suggestion is that don't do it because I'm saying you to do it. Do it for your own sake. You know, one saying is there, and I have read it somewhere, that what we should teach to our children. Things are changing very fast. Huh? What I have learned is not relevant to you. What you have learned will not be relevant to your next generation. So what as an individual we should teach our next generation? And you know what the answer is? The answer is we should teach something which we have learned quite late in life. Why? Because it will save you time and learn those things which you should have learned earlier. This networking, when you get into college, you think, being good at coding or being good at making a, website or app is the skill which you need. Yes, you need that, but only for your first 3 to 4 years of your life. Then you will get promoted to a manager. And guess what? You don't know how to manage people.
Yeah.
You are a very good worker as a single coder. But now you don't need to code. You have to help 7 other people to code. This is the biggest problem why even the technocrats started facing problem after 10 years of their life, because they become obsolete. The technology has changed. The company is ready to promote you to be a manager. You are not a manager material. Why? You don't have people skills. End of discussion. So think in that perspective.
Yeah.
It's not only about entrepreneurship. People skills is required in entrepreneurship for sure. But guess what? It is required in life as well. So better do for it.
Actually, sir. So, people these days are very introverted, right? That is what they lack while being a social human or being a social butterfly. That is where they lack. The introvert side of them do not let them do that. So, speaking of which, sir, if I have a great idea, I have an amazing idea, but I don't know how to pitch my idea in front of investors. So, if you would like to give an advice and give your take that how to pitch my idea fearlessly with full of confidence in front of investors and how to get funding, like proper funding.
Have you ever seen the horse race?
Horses.
Horse race
Horse race, yes, sir.
in TV? In
Yeah.
film? People don't bet on horses. They bet on jockeys. Right. Investors don't bet on your venture idea. They bet on you as an agent. And this is not what I'm speaking. I'm speaking it from the horse's mouth. The investors has told me that. That is in an early stage startup. There are very high chances that the project which you are working on is going to pivot. But they are investing in you. How confident you are, how open to learn you are, how investable you are, right? Whenever you are pitching, you're talked about, there are people who are pitching and not getting that particular thing. Reason is not that there's something wrong in their
Idea.
Actually, there is wrong in their idea and it is required to be rectified, but that is another thing. It is because they are not investable.
Yeah.
You have to show them that I am investable. How you are going to show them? You can only show them by proving that I have put my heart and soul into building this. And I will do anything to make it a success. If the investor sees that commitment into it, they are going to invest. And that should be the skill which one has to acquire. That will not come sitting in your room, preparing in front of a mirror and practicing your pitch 100 times. It comes when you go out in the market. You say, sir, I have actually talked to 100 of my potential customers. I'll acquire their problem. I know what is their real pain point is. I know what is the competition doing. I know what is their alternative. And this is my alternative which is going to work. You know what? It may not work, but the person will see that this guy or girl has put the effort. And that's what they get appreciated. I also want to add one particular thing. Okay, you must have heard, and many of us say that our studies for school in 12 years has no significance in our life. Our college studies has no significance in our life. If you ask me, Vishal Sir, how much of what you have studied in your IITs you are going to use in your day-to-day life, anyone will say 10 to 15%. And everyone asks, then why we are doing it, right? And you know what the answer is? The answer is you are being trained, okay, to be tested. That if I give you a job, can you do it well? If there is a responsibility which is given to you, can you take it? If you are supposed to read something, can you understand it? You are just proving that, yes, I can. You are just proving that you give me a job, I will do it. You give me a project, I will complete it. You give me a task, I will execute it. Every point of life, you have to show this. And this is building you up for the next thing. So yes, the 10th step of a ladder has nothing to do with the first step of the ladder. But if you would not have put the step on first, you cannot achieve it.
So, sir, before we wrap up, what's the one piece of advice that would summarize all your points and you would want to give to a budding entrepreneur?
Hard to summarize in one point, but yes, I will give you pointers. Okay. We don't teach entrepreneurship because it cannot be taught. It's like swimming, right? We throw you in the pool, but with a lifeguard. So we don't let you drown. Incubators are meant to help the individuals to save their precious time and learn the rule of the game so that they can find the success which they deserve. As I said, there are two ways in which you can learn. Doing the mistake on your own or learn from the mistakes which other has done and don't repeat it. We are very bullish that India is going to be a superpower and the youth is the key for that. We want to support our youth to change the world order and establish the dominance, may it be in technology, may it be in engineering, may it be in any domain, and lead the world. There are multiple ways in which you can do that. I'm not saying that working for a corporate is not that solution, but even working for a corporate is getting tougher. You are seeing how many layoffs is happening. The point is, yes, there are layoffs, but there are new opportunities as well. Are you really ready for that opportunity? What is that opportunity? Of being a problem solver. Every individual, irrespective of whether they want to start their venture or not, they should have the entrepreneurial mindset. Because it is not only the CPO who runs the company. You require the COO, the CMO, the CTO, and there are multiple CXOs. Be ready to be that. And the sky's the limit.
Thank you, sir. So it has been a very insightful podcast. So sir, we are very grateful to have you. I'm your host Chun Chainika, and till next time, I hope you guys have a very good time. Keep hustling and keep watching. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That was a very insightful and remarkable episode. Thank you for tuning in with us today. Follow to FEDKIIT for more such amazing content. Like, share and subscribe. Until then, see you next time. Ideate, innovate and inspire.